My next guest tonight, joining me here on Punky's MixTape, is coming out of Freehold, New Jersey. I'd like everybody to welcome to the show Mike and Colton of the Break Plans. How we doing, everyone?
Hey guys, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, seriously, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're absolutely most welcome. Always excited to meet new friends from all over. Been to New Jersey once to go to Red Bank to go see NoFX go play on the beach for the Stone Pony there. And I know what I know about New Jersey is that you guys are like the diner capital of the world, or at least the U.S. And that's no fucking joke. I will say that I've never seen so many fucking diners in my life.
Dog, but yeah, have you ever been so fucking hungry at 2 a.m. for pancakes and you can just go to the diner?
Yeah, that used to be a thing when I lived in Boston, but now I live in the middle of the woods in Maine. So if I want drunken pancakes, I gotta make myself drunken pancakes.
I was gonna say in the middle of Maine, sounds like if you want food, you gotta go hunt and kill it yourself.
You might need to, or just grow your own and stuff like that. So it's not so bad up here.
Nice, man, nice.
So for my guests that may not be familiar with the Break Plans, introduce yourselves. Tell us about what you do in the band, and obviously a little bit about the band.
Sure. Yeah. So we are a pop rock band from, like you said, New Jersey. I'm Colton. I'm the singer. I like to think I can play a little bit of piano, and then obviously the other half of the band is Mike over there. So Mike.
Well, like the third of the band because Dan's not here right now.
My bad.
But that's okay. That's all right. So I'm like the other third, and I'm Mikey. I play guitar, and I dabble with a few other instruments, not very well, but yeah, hi.
And our third member is Dan, who unfortunately cannot be with us. He's kind of tossed up in work and things like that. So Mike and I try and take the public appearances here, the interviews. So yeah, like we said, pop rock band from Jersey. And very excited to be on here. Thank you so much for having us, dude. You're
absolutely most welcome. Most welcome. So tell us a bit about the Break Plans. How did you all get started? Was it you've been a band just a couple of years now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say think of 2018. We I think it was 18. Colt. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think
we met up. And I found Colton through a Craigslist advertisement.
That's correct.
So we've told the story a few times, but never, I think, via video. So it's probably funnier seeing us laugh about it. It's been on podcast stuff. But yeah, so I was I did a few bands before this band, and they weren't working out. Just not really reliable members. I don't think anyone really knows, but with a band you could have awesome songs, but if the members are non-existent or unavailable, it's gonna be it's an awful time. So I was done. I mean, it was just a lot of pain and suffering trying to make a band work. So for a couple of years I stopped, and then one day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look one more time for a bandmate, a singer. I'm not a great singer. And I see Colton's advertisement in Craigslist. Now he's gonna deny it, but I see this full page face shot, like this photo of his face as the advertisement, and I started laughing to myself. I'm like, who is this character? But I was reading their description of what they wanted, and he mentioned how I was a huge fan of the Killers, Coldplay, and all these bands that I like. So that's kind of how it got started per se. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I'm glad Mike recanted his previous statement. He used to say it was a headshot, and I did not post a headshot because I'm not that vain. But no, coming from more from my end. So I I've been doing music kind of, as you can see, I just moved into a new place. So a room like this, I have my computer, and I play some keyboard, and you can make the drum sounds from the keyboard, things like that. Kind of doing it all on my own, and I got to a point, I feel just maybe the creativity ran out or writer's block or what have you. And I was like, you know what, I want to try and do a band. I think that'd be more fun than just sitting in a room by myself trying to make music. So I put out a singer looking for a band. And I guess this is, that's Mike pretty much told the rest of the story, but I guess the biggest thing I was looking for, and I'm so glad it came to fruition, was with the band, I just basically wanted like a bro that I could like hang out with, like drink some beers with, like make music with, like it, when you start a band, it's like Mike kind of mentioned, it's more than the music. It's, you really got to like these people. So I think my ad was actually like somebody who likes the Killers, Coldplay, and drinking beer with me, and then we'll be a great band. So that's kind of how we started. Yeah.
That is marvelous. That absolutely is. Those.
By the way, as I say that, this is a Cape May IPA. Local Jersey also as well. It's pretty cool, but cheers.
Cheers. I'm enjoying a fine cup of coffee right now.
Drink your water.
Wow, Mike, you guys are making me look like an alcoholic. You know what? Next time I'm gonna just put in a coffee mug. There we go.
Well, it goes with your.
But nobody knows. I could just say I'm drinking coffee. So that's awesome. Like take one last. You're like, you know what? Fuck it. One last shot. Let's see what's out there, and then you connect. And you're right, because being in a band is much more than just playing music with people. You need to be able to spend time with them, and you become family, and you just become united for your commonality. So that's awesome that Craigslist was able to be a platform for there. Now, what other people reached out to you on there? That's what I'm curious about. Did you ever get anybody else reaching out to you through there?
Yeah, I did. I did, and Mike will always joke about this. And I don't ever mean to drag any other genres through the ringer here, but it's like heavy metal guys are like, I'll get a drummer be like, hey, I play double bass, man. You should see how fast. And I was like, did these people read the fucking ad? Like, I mean, like, I get you want to start a band, but like the only thing we have in common is that we both want to be in a band. That's where it stops. There's nothing about our genres are similar. There's, nothing about, that's similar. So I think it was that there were a couple bass players. And then you also get hit up by other singers. And like, Mike can make the joke, I'm the front man. I enjoy the spotlight. That's my fucking time to shine. I like that shit. And other singers would be like, yeah, so, if you wanted, like, we could like switch off on the songs. I'm like, okay, you didn't read the ad. I'm literally just looking for musicians who we can write songs together. Another one too, was cover bands too. A lot of cover bands, and being like, hey, I saw your video with that. You could definitely be in a cover band. It's like, cool, I could be in a cover band, but I don't want to. I want to write fucking music, and I want to create my own band. I want to do it like that. And so Mike was the one who, just check those, boxes or whatever. I think his first thing was, he messaged me or texted me or whatever, and was like, dude, fucking love those influences like Killers, Coldplay, like U2, One Republic. He was like, dude, love that style. And for me, that was first and foremost, like just a style. Like if I'm gonna do music, I want it to be fun, and I like that style of music. So if we do this style of music, it's inherently fun.
It's funny because like whenever you go on Craigslist, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been on there in years, but you'll see like it's always like want to do like grunge or Nirvana or like Pearl Jam kind of music, or I don't know. I mean, I like that stuff, but that's like all you see. So when I saw he put the Killers and Coldplay, I was just like, yeah, like who is this guy? So it worked out. It was nice. And it's funny because like I legitimately was done. Like it was over. And this guy pulled me out for one more haul. Hopefully it's a long haul. I don't know.
Oh.
We'll see.
Well, that's an awesome story right there. And I was curious about like the other people, and it's amazing. Like, I mean, I love death metal. I love heavy stuff, but like some people with the way that they're thinking, they don't read everything. So I'm only just trying to imagine like what was going through that guy's head of this like death metal meets Coldplay and the Killers. Like, yeah, I kind of want to hear that band. I kind of want to hear that band.
Jealousy, no. It's like jealousy.
Wait, yeah, but I also do want to clear the record, though. I have plenty of my friends are in death metal hardcore bands, Love it. I enjoy it. It's a nice stress reliever listening to it as well. But that's just not the music I make, you know. So it's nothing personal. It's just They didn't
Oh, no,
reach the hand.
especially like you know what you want to do at the end of the day, and like the type of music that you want to create, you know. And there's tons of genres on there. That's what we try to show people here on the mixtape. There's all these little nuances between all the different styles. And what I really like about you guys, and it's actually great in your description. Like you're like a rock and roll band with an EDM soul.
Yeah. It's funny you talk about all these micro genres and stuff, because Mike will tell you, even to this day, like this interview, like when people are like, oh yeah, explain to us like what kind of music you do. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Pop rock, all the indie pop, indie rock pop.
Yeah.
Mike, right? Like,
no, it's funny because like I always said it, like I was a big pop punk fan growing up. Like I love Fall Out Boy, like Cartel, The Starting Line, all those bands. And I always tried like writing pop punk songs, but like I just couldn't do it. It just never came out. Or if I tried, it was like awful. So I guess like I started writing like these songs, and maybe not in the vein of pop punk, but it's just kind of like what comes out, and it's because I like pop punk. I like EDM. I like pop rock, so all these different influences come out. So it's funny when someone asks us like, what's your style of music? Like, I really don't know. It's like indie, alt, pop, rock, EDM, So sorry, I don't know, so
that's tough. It's good that you can't quite put your finger on it, because that's really any well versed musician's going to have influences from all over the place. So be able to culminate that into your own style and sound is always a beautiful thing. And I think you two coming together absolutely came up with something wonderful. So
seriously,
yeah, cheers, dude. I mean like you said, it's just I think we don't think about the genre. We just kind of write what comes out and get together and do our thing. And then people afterwards are like, oh, put a label on it. We're like, oh,
This writer this summer, Haley, she wrote a really nice article on us. I'm like, I feel like defined us to the best we've ever heard. And
oh, that one? I remember that one, right? That's the one where I like teared up at your house, right?
Colton cried.
I didn't cry.
Because she said it was kind of like we were like this nostalgic sound that brings you back to like, it could be like a nostalgic sound to like 80s or like this big anthem-y like pop music that just kind of like it brings you back to a nice feeling of a better time. I'm actually doing an awful job.
Bro, it was literally like the nicest fucking article anybody's not first and foremost, to go out of your way and write an article on like music that we make is like humbling beyond belief. But then to go write the things that she said, and like the thing, it was the summer, or late summer, I think. So I'm usually hanging out with Mike like by his pool, and we just like he's like, yo, the article came in. And I'm reading this for the first time, and it's just like it's the nicest thing anybody's ever said like about our music.
You know what it was? She said, and a lot of people did say that we sound like movie soundtrack like music, which is like, all right, but we get that a lot from people. Like we'll ask them like, what do we sound like? And they're like movie soundtrack music. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah. So
sinkable, baby. It's sinkable.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess to answer whatever the question
I think, and that's kind of interesting that you say that, because I was listening to you earlier this week. And I was sitting outside with my better half, and I was like, this is incredibly cinematic. And I'm not going to lie, I was like, this should be in a movie.
Oh, well. That's funny.
So movie soundtrack, I mean, that's I think is its own thing, but you're very cinematic in your writing. And that's for me with like a filmmaker standpoint, like there's certain tempos to scene to when you embody a feeling, and I think that you hit like all the right notes. It's fun, it's upbeat, it's dancey, it's positive, it's incredibly enticing from start to finish. And going through your discography, like I wasn't disappointed at all. and I could just envision all these little things happening, and it really just inspired the imagination. And I think that's what I really like about you is, like I said, it's a cinematic feel, and it's almost escapism in it, and you can kind of just relax and enjoy the music, which is nice.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's funny. I would say, I don't want to like get too into it, but we were offered like the sync deal. Cole, if you want to explain, but basically they take our music and try to put it in like movies, but it was the worst deal ever. So
yeah, we were basically offered a sync deal where they were like, "Hey guys, thanks for the music. We will take it. You can't be banned anymore. You can pull it off your Spotify, and if it makes money, you'll get like half of it." I was like, "Wow, that's so nice." Yeah, it's gonna be a fucking big mess.
That's great, cool. Yeah, we'll never be able to play these amazing songs that we wrote together and totally established our sound with. Yeah, that sounds great, and I'll have to erase them from our history, and we can't be a band anymore. We just have to stop doing what we're doing. Oh, that's amazing. That's tons of fun.
Yeah. It was literally like, funny, hey, you know what? Let me just ask my bandmate real quick. Yeah, that's gonna be a fucking no from us. Well, yeah, appreciate it.
It's funny because the guy was like, yeah, just write new songs. I was like, you know how hard it is.
Well, we're gonna write new ones. We'll write new ones for you. We're not gonna write,
Oh man, worst deal ever.
But then I will say though, Mike makes a great point, right? So even if we were to take that and write songs just for like a sync deal, because a lot of people do that. It's a different world of film, or sorry, not filming, like music. It's a different world. It's just film. They write for sync. It sounds good. It's earworms. 30, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, whatever. But then Mike makes a great point. Like, say we start writing for sync, and then we're like, well, fuck, that's a good hook. Like, we should keep that,
You don't, and that's the thing. You'll come up with something, and you're like, well, this is my baby now, and I don't want to let this go because I want to be able to use this.
And then we wouldn't be good in any sort of, contract where we had to write them songs, because we would keep the good ones and give them the shitty ones. I don't think they want us for shitty songs,
Well, it's like Chris Martin of Coldplay. That song Paradise.
Yeah,
he was writing for, I believe I heard he was writing for a like one of those like American Idols or British Idols. And
yeah.
Because it was so good.
He wrote that for American Idol, and he was like, "Yeah, I wrote that, and then I realized it was, so I kept it." And
This is too good.
Too good. I want it.
Yep. So now, tell me a little bit about the road thus far. From starting to now. You've been a band for a couple years. What's your journey been like thus far?
All right. Well, I'll talk quickly and I'll let Colt kind of finish it off. But so
wait, Mike, take enough time because I got to run grab a beer.
Okay.
Got time. Yeah, you can fill in.
Nice. So when we started meeting up off Craigslist, I didn't know Colton. So I would say the funny thing is that we had to get to like know each other, and it may have never worked out because we weren't friends. I didn't know him. Our musical styles were similar, but like I didn't know him. So the hardest part was becoming friends, and I would say that we did quickly become friends, which was pretty awesome. It was funny because we were working out of his parents' basement with a lot of our songs and demoing, so we had to kind of deal with his parents. Like I moved out already. I'm on my own, so it was funny kind of going back to like this dude's house with his parents and everything. So I would say though, although like we started putting music out last summer, which feels like forever ago, but it's only like a year and a few months. We took about a year and a half to like really write music, work on music. So we didn't really start like social media for a long time. Or if we did, we started like, we found the pages, like we signed up for Instagram, Facebook, just to make sure we had them for our name. But we didn't really go active till I'd probably say last July was probably like when we really started attacking it. So Road, you asked about the Road. Yeah, we wrote music and we demoed a lot in his basement. Colton's a really good demo producer, which he thought in the beginning he was going to be this sick producer and do all our songs. But then we ended up reaching out to a few producers, which like really honed in on our style and our sound.
So a couple things there. Yeah, so when we were in my parents' studio or my parents' basement, we call parents' studios. Yeah, parents too. It was really funny because like Mike said, you know, like I had, you know, just kind of met Mike, and then my parents were always the type of people to be like, well, if you're going to bring someone over, we would like to meet them. And I'm like, oh, and so it's like, yeah, hello, mother, hello, father. This is my grown-ass, also adult bandmate. This is Mike. We're going to be jamming down in the basement. If you could leave us alone.
Yo, I want to cut you off because no one's heard this. His parent, he had like an intercom system in his house.
Oh, yeah.
so like we'd be like rehearsing or whatever, recording, and you hear like BD or whatever, like, Cole, do you want dinner?
Yeah.
And you're like, no, mom, like no.
Or
she'd be like, or she'd be like listening in on like.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say that
on the intercom.
Like we didn't know. She'd be listening in on the intercom, and like I'd be like doing warm ups, or Mike and I would finish like, you know, just fucking around, riffing together or whatever. And my mom would be like, Colton, it sounds like you need to warm up more. Your voice it sounds like you're really struggling to hit the high notes. It sounds like you're really stretching them. I was like, oh, thanks, Mom. I didn't know that we asked for feedback, but I appreciate it. Thanks.
Or his dad. His dad was always great because it was always like an altercation. Like, Cole, get up here. I got to talk to you.
Yeah. It's a good time. But I will say this, though. My friends always told me, once you move out, you'll become best friends with your parents. And as you can see now, well, this is my second new place. I moved up, but even my first new place, my dad and I are fucking like best bros now.
They're great people. Great people. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So they put up with it, and dude, actually within 2 years, they went from like, what are you doing in this band stuff, to like my dad being like, oh, I don't understand why you guys aren't on the radio already.
Oh, you know what? It's a great segue to what you were asking though about the road and all that. Like, so that led to our show. So like his dad would kind of like joke about like what are you doing? Like, is there a drummer yet? All this kind of stuff. And after our first show, which was like I would think a big success, I feel like it turned a page with your parents believing in the music and everything, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, yeah, and even for you, Corey, not even just our parents, but so Mike and I, we had this band for like a year, like we said, before we even released our first single. You know, just trying to figure out the kinks and, you know, like Mike said, you know, trying to get the usernames for all the socials and shit like that. And then so finally we released our like first song and our second song, and people were like, well, what's the deal? Are you ever going to play live or whatever? And so we were like, dude, we just want to set it up and do it right. So like we like set it up and made sure. And so the Saint in Asbury Park, it's kind of like this smaller dive bar venue, but it's like a rite of passage, if you will. Yeah. You know, and so they were like, hey, it's a new band. So obviously that's where you start. They gave us.
It was a festival. Cool. It was a festival, the Light of Day.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It was Light of Day Festival. Yeah. So we kind of hopped on it in that respect of like, dude, just let us play. Like, it's the opening thing for a festival. So like, if you don't bring 15 people, we will send you packing. You will not unpack and you will go home. So we were like, all right, you know, I work in sales in my other job. So I'm like, all right, we're going to fucking grind this one out. So we pre-sold like 65 tickets or something like that. And
then more to door, which is freaking awesome.
And just fucking packed that place, man. And it was sick. That was my favorite show. Dude, there's videos, like people were yelling back. That's what I did a band for. That's the ecstasy, the feeling. That's what I look for. Being on stage and just getting that positive, like we're just singing and playing and these people are fucking loving it and sending this positive energy back to us. That right there is the goal.
Yeah, man, like our first show, they knew the words.
that feeling, if you haven't done it, it's like completely like indescribable. And I know so many of us are just completely missing that right now, that connection, that positivity, that reciprocity back and forth. And it's a very emotional, powerful thing, you know, to see, regardless of any genre that you play, you know, let it be, you know, from indie to, you know, electronic music to even to heavy metal, you know, just be able to have that opportunity and that feeling is unlike anything else. And for a first show to be able to be like, yeah, we're going to prove you wrong and just pack the fucking house. That is awesome. That's awesome to hear. So you started playing out last year, and you had that show there for the festival. Were you able to play any other shows before the COVID and lockdown happening?
That's right. So we'll lock that in. So we actually, our first show ever was January of 2020. So right before COVID happened. And then so we had that show at the Saint, and we were like, dude, the energy's there. And we were booked for the next, like, I think like 4 weeks or something. You know, like we had a show in PA or whatever. And so the thing was too, then the energy of the Asbury show started getting around. And we're like, dude, our goal was, so just locally, Asbury Park, their biggest venue, arguably is House of Independence, it's called. Probably get 600-700 head count or something like that, right, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could say Stone Pony or House of Independence are both.
Yeah, oh yeah, Stone Pony's got the name, House of Independence has the room. But anyway, so we were like, okay, we got the January show, Asbury's gonna be great. So we were like, let's not play in Asbury right away because we just did, you know, so let's try and go. So we went a couple other places, we had some shows lined up, and then we got in 3 shows, I believe, right, Mike? 3?
Yeah.
We got in 3 shows. And then I was like, you know, me and my better half, you know,
I would say 2.5 shows, but
yeah. Well, but yeah, so me and my better half, we were like, okay, so we already had the inked, and then we had a trip to Puerto Rico inked. And so I was like, dude, so excited. Gonna play the shows. I'm gonna go chill in Puerto Rico, come back, we'll play some more shows. As I'm in Puerto Rico, the COVID thing blows up, dude. I'm literally in Puerto Rico. It's like the fucking purge. They have these pickup trucks that are going around, and they have big speakers on the back, and they're like, if you're not from Puerto Rico, we recommend you go home. There has been a lockdown mandated at 8 p.m. Please catch a flight home. Go home. This is a new lockdown. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are we doing? So we get home, and I'm like, dude, with Mike with the band, he's like, dude, I don't know, shows are fucked, like it's canceled, and that's really, that's what it was. March, dude, January, February, March, we played like 3 shows, like a show a month. Shit was going well, and they're like, nope, shut down.
And I think what's crazy is that like everyone thought it'd be like maybe like a month or 2 kind of thing, like, oh, all right, like we'll deal with this, it'll get better, because like no one knew that it was gonna be like so bad.
I think the thing was nobody knew fucking anything,
But remember, like June or July, they started like thinking about doing shows again. We booked a couple, and then as it got closer, because I think the curve was getting better, right? So they were like, all right, we'll start opening shows up. And we were getting a little excited, but the more
we were getting pumped, and then they're like, oh, we got a show. We had a show in Philly, right? And then I understand, because of COVID and local regulations and laws and things. But now the only shows they allow are basically like acoustic shows, with like, 1 speaker, a singer, and an acoustic guitar, and that's about it. And that's like not how we are as a band, man. Like when we're in the studio, like the thing is like Mike and I and Dan, 3 people, we basically make up, a song will be like 100 tracks. So, I'll be playing like dun, 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 on the piano, and then I'll be playing like on the piano, and then Mike will be like doing it. So we could do that, just, we don't, we can't clone ourselves. We can't do it all at one time. So when we play acoustic, it's different, man. It's different. We didn't plan for it. And I'll be the first to say, like, acoustic's nice, but I don't like doing acoustic, like, I know it's weird. I like the spotlights and the big fucking show and the lights and the backtracks and the bass hitting you like this. Yeah, I mean, like we did one acoustic show in July, but it was like from a window. Everyone was in the streets. Acoustic shows, and the day.
But like what Colton said, I mean, I'm cool playing like if it was like a meet and greet. If we ever get to that point someday, sure, I'll play some acoustic songs because that's just a hangout. But to like really package a whole show around us doing acoustic, that's not our songs,
Yeah, it's not our style.
Well, exactly. You didn't write those songs as acoustic songs. You wrote them in a studio with the layering and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm as a solo like electronic artist, to strip down what I do to be like, oh, play this acoustic. But like, there's no way I cannot take what I do and create in a studio and strip it down to an acoustic version of it. Like,
not only that, and I'm not going to complain, but it also affects the songwriting, because if we were writing as an acoustic song, we'd write it different. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. It wasn't written or intended for that. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that has a big part to it. Like you said, you didn't write it as an acoustic song, so it's not, it doesn't always transpose well. Especially if you're using different effects and different audio tricks and things like that. It's just, it's going to be much harder to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we have one song, I think, like Lipstick Number does hold up well acoustic. Maybe like another. But
that's also because we demoed Lipstick as an acoustic version too. Remember?
Yeah. So
we practiced that and wrote it around that, after. And then I'd also argue too, it's different. Like if I was more like a acoustic guitar singer songwriter rather than a piano person, it'd be a lot easier. But the problem is, dude, like piano is not fucking acoustic. You know what I mean? Like, there's a whole bunch of shit, unless you're at like a hotel or somewhere fancy where they have a piano. That is sick. I do that all day, but that's not very often. You know what I mean?
Which is totally understandable. Oh, those fancy hotel pianos, those are nice. And man, that big this ballroom sound. I mean, it's so clean, and it always catches your attention. It doesn't matter where you are. It's like, oh.
It's funny, actually. I created a TikTok just a couple weeks ago for the band, and I posted Colton playing one of the pianos at the American Hotel on our TikTok.
The American Hotel is this local freehold establishment, and they have this big fucking sexy ass grand piano, man. I'm telling you, ebony black, taken beautiful care of, right? And there's a big sign: "Do not touch the piano." So. Mike and I get there and I'm like, dude, I might be a little drunk, but I'm not like gonna fucking ruin the piano. I just want to play the fucking piano. So I grew up a big Beatles fan. So I started playing Let It Be and Imagine, all this stuff. And this guy comes over to the piano and starts like singing with me and being like, wow, that's great. Turns out the guy's the owner of the American Hotel. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, man. I know it says don't play. He goes, no. He goes, that's to keep off the people who are going to ruin the piano. If you can play it, fucking play the piano, And then, dude, get this. He sits down and he plays a classical number, and I was like, dude, oh, I'm so sorry. You're way better at the piano. I'm so sorry I played yours.
That's awesome. See, sometimes, it's not so much like it's a rule. It's like you said, it's gonna keep the people that can't play. And sometimes you just gotta go past those moments, because sometimes you'll end up having an adventure like that.
Dude, I'll tell you, you learn the party songs like Hey Jude, you can play on any piano in the fucking world. Once you start playing it and then you get to the nanas, like what's somebody gonna come over and be like, hey, can you stop having fun, please? Please shut it down. I'm done.
And it's like you're right. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. I think if you're going to go and sit on a piano and play Hey Jude, it's anywhere. It doesn't matter. You could be in Russia. You could be in Japan. You could be in South America. Everybody's going to sing along.
And not to, bring it full circle, but as a band, when we write anthemic shit like that, dude, could you, if that happened, that would be unbelievably mind blowing in the end, That would be the goal there. You can write a song that people anywhere can sing back to you and relate to and do it, dude. That is the fucking goal, man.
Maybe you should do a rooftop show next year.
We've actually been talking about a rooftop show since we started the band. So that's hilarious that you say that.
Well, with all with the Beatles influence, that's immediately what I think. And it's kind of going up there, putting on the jacket, look around, we all know that, we've seen it parodied so many times, and it's like get the band together up there playing on a rooftop, that would just be an absolute blast anyways.
Dude, what's funny though is also too, right as COVID happened, we've been talking about for forever, we need to get our own PA system as a band. So we went and kind of got the biggest speakers we could kind of find for the price. And we were in Mike's backyard and we demoed them. And I was like, yo, just turn them everything to even, don't turn it up, don't turn it down, just turn everything to even. And holy fuck, dude. I was as soon as he played some, I was like, dude, turn it down. So we can reach, I guarantee those speakers, we could reach 1,000 to 2,000 people. If we played on a rooftop, imagine that.
That might be what it comes to for next year, depending on how things go with with knocking down the pandemic here in the United States. So,
dude, I was going to say on that route, right? And I know it's been tried before. So my deal here would be, if I was like in charge of that hypothetically, right? Why not rent out a big fucking parking lot, right? So like the mall closest to me, like rent out the mall parking lot, put a stage there, right? Then every other parking lot or every other parking space should be like your little block, your little square that, X amount of people can go, your party can go to, you know what I mean? Maybe even put a fucking picnic bench, in every other square, right? Because a parking space, if I'm not mistaken, it's got to be more than 6 feet wide. And you do every other one. Think about it. They know the numbers for parking. I don't understand why live shows, especially while the weather has been nice, I don't understand how that hasn't been revived.
There haven't been enough parking lot shows because, there were parking lot shows, but it was so far and in between. Like you would have thought more venues or places would have done them. Like there was one parking lot show or one place doing them, but it was like getting on that roster was like almost impossible.
No, but I think more I'm saying, the powers that be and the people, if you want to create shows and you want to create and continue this entertainment, I don't understand why you can't have like a field or a parking lot, measure some shit out, and then just have people in their fucking pods. You know what I mean?
Well, there's been some things of that. There's been, several like drive-in shows and stuff like that. So like keeping people in their cars been one thing. I think
also,
like an insurance issue.
Am I dumb for being the only person I didn't realize when you do the car shows, they just transmit it to your radio as well? I thought like you had to like roll your fucking windows down. I was like, oh, how are you gonna hear it?
No, they have like a radio transmitter. So, which to be able to play a show like that I think those are going to be some of the things that we're going to see like early on in the year as things start to open up and like for safety measures and stuff like that. I've seen like drive-ins doing stuff like that, and then they're filming it and then they're putting it up on the big screen so that people are able to watch it, which I think is awesome.
Dude, that's just kind of like what like MSG, or if you went to a big fucking concert venue and you didn't have the best seat in the world, they always have the big TVs, where you could look. Yeah. I'm not understanding why the transition is so hard to have live shows. Again, I guess the issue is if you just open those gates, you're going to have millions of people buying for 10,000 tickets or something. You know what I mean?
And then I think it's really, like I said, comes down to like an insurance issue at that point.
Yeah.
Which is, I think is like the biggest thing is it's like the liability.
You're right. Because we also talked about having backyard shows, and you think, okay, so now you got to fire code it. You got to figure out how many people can be there. Then you got to divide that by how many the state allows. Then you got to also think about like fucking toilets and shit, dude. Like nobody thinks about that. Like imagine you got 100 people. That's probably at least like 6 or 7 probably porta potties or whatever, And
then keeping them clean and sanitized. And then it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
And then that's not even going to like the ADA, for disabilities. Like then you need to have a handicap porta potty as well if you want to keep shit legit. You got to have a ramp, so you got to make sure it's all accessible, which wouldn't be good in the grass. But that's why that's why I'm in a band and I'm not a promoter or showrunner,
See, I've thrown my own day festival before, a 2-stage event, and it is so much work. And
sounds like a lot of fun.
It is, and it isn't.
Yeah.
It's fun when everything is going well, but it sucks when you've got to be an asshole. That's my.
It sucks when one person has an issue and you're the guy who takes care of it.
Yeah, and I don't like having to do that. It's grown-up stuff. I want to watch all the kick-ass bands and have a good time and be like, oh, cool, here, come and eat and do this and have it, and have fun like that. I hate having to deal with the asshole shit. But
yeah.
But I digress. So had the acoustic show over the summer. What else have you been doing to maintain while pushing through this pandemic that we're in?
Growing sick ass mustaches. Look at that right there.
Wow, you want to talk about sick mustaches?
I know. I'm pathetic, but actually, it's actually thicker than it's just very blonde. I'm also a slow grower, but we're doing it for a good cause. So.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, Mike flooded himself with light right now. because when we were FaceTiming earlier, his mustache was more profound. But yeah, that being said, yeah, so we are growing mustaches for Movember or No Shave November, whatever you prefer, to spread awareness for men's prostate cancer. Am I not mistaken on that?
Which my father had prostate. I mean, I guess it's almost forever.
So yeah, we're also still trying to figure out the logistics of it because, you know, as a band, I would love to, you know, just show that and you know, it's not necessarily about money, but I would like to donate to that stuff. I was thinking maybe we could, you know, use some of the, you know, either merch sales or maybe even some of the streaming shit. Because if we want to talk about streaming shit, they don't pay shit. But, you know, like it's $20 a month or whatever. So if we could donate, you know, like our years or whatever towards that, I think that'd be really cool. And then we'll just tell people like, hey, go listen more, you know, so the next year is worth more or whatever. But yeah, digging the mustaches. My girlfriend hates it. Most people in my professional life hate it, but you know, it's for a good cause. No?
I think it's great. As a facial hair aficionado, I think it's good, and I think you should keep it after December 1st.
There you go. There you go, Colt. You heard it first. Keep it, my man.
Keep it.
Yeah, Corey, I'm gonna have you call my girlfriend and sell that for me, and she's down with it.
I absolutely will. That'll be my Christmas gift to the Break Plans. Is I'll call your girlfriend for you and convince her to keep your mustache.
Dude, I love it.
I'll even get my better half on the phone because she actually prefers the full beard.
Hey, Mike.
So, but just to like, yeah. So basically, besides growing sick ass mustaches, we are working on music. I would say we're in like pre-production per se. We finished one song about a month or two ago, and we're going to be working on a few more. And the goal is we haven't really sat down and talked about like the full target, but it looks like we might release an EP in the spring. It's not definite. I mean, there's a lot, as you know, as a musician, that goes into planning releases and music and all that. So that's a popular idea right now in the break plans camp. So that's kind of where we're at. We have a few other things we're doing besides music. We're trying to do some video stuff also. Like if Colt, if you want to jump on that. Besides,
I'm feeling my beard. I'm feeling it. It feels like
it helps it grow.
Dude,
you know, but video stuff planned.
Corey will appreciate this. So as of right now, Mike is like, can we get back on like talking about the fucking break plan? But yeah, no, seriously, dude, like you were saying, like we talked about filmmaking and shit like that. So I went to school for that. I went to school I have a BA in mass communication, but like video production, you know, is my thing. Mike has a bunch of fucking bachelors. I think he's got a master or two. I'm not sure. But yeah, dude, we shoot our own videos. We actually were shooting EPK before. And dude, like you're doing right now, I asked like how like your setup is and your lighting and shit. Like, dude, we miss that. So I think the biggest thing coming from the break plan is gonna be content, man. We've been talking about it for years. I want to do a YouTube channel. You know, if only not for like, not to say the band or whatever, but like, dude, I just moved into a new place, like new room. Like I want to show everybody like how you can fucking, you know, turn a room into, you know, whatever, or, you know, Mike and I can, you know, just like my parents' basement, we can come over, write a song in, you know, like a day or whatever. But yeah, I guess to go back and answer the question, yeah, we love creating content, man. Like I miss doing this so much. I miss shooting video. Like I miss like lighting and, you know, figuring out the ISO and the aperture and, you know, like figuring that stuff out. And I want to do that with Mike, you know, and again, he's like, you know, a really good friend of mine. So I think that's what we're going to focus on is just creating content because like you said, people are stuck home, you know, and this pandemic, this crazy unforeseen happenstance is happening. So you either fucking complain about it or you deal with it, you know? So I think we're a nice mix of both and we'll complain about it and deal with it, you know?
Well, that's all we can do, you know? And I think honestly, you know, most people got room to gripe, but if we can band together through positivity, you know, but I think we're going to do all right. We're going to make it through it together, which is the most important thing, you know, and I think that is very awesome because the videos that you have done so far, I absolutely love. They're a ton of fun. So and just sitting here, as Mike can tell, it's you guys are super engaging and you could just talk and talk and talk, and I absolutely love that. Because it's making new friends all over the world. But I think a YouTube channel of even this you guys hanging out doing your thing I'd watch it. I'd watch it. I'd hit subscribe right away.
No, I want to say going back to, so like off the record, Mike just kind of helps me out and tells me when we have interviews and things like that, like what time I got to be doing what or whatever. But dude, it's a fucking pleasure hanging out with you, man. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, we enjoy this shit. Yeah, and like, the YouTube channel, like, dude, I can see, what you're doing with it. It's so much fun, man. Just being connected, and people are going to be home. You want to be one of two camps. You either want to be consuming the content that's being put out, or you want to be part of the content that's being put out. And I think if this is how it's going to continue, we would love to be, content providers and just doing our thing and streaming it, or
I think it would be great. I think it'd be totally engaging. And like I said, I'd absolutely watch it from, sitting there to you guys discussing different things to watching you songwrite. And, I think that type of stuff and like engaging people like that in a very, personal way. It's a very human thing to do right now. We're all missing that connectivity, that socialization right now. So anything that is kind of humanizing and brings people together in a positive light is needed more than ever. So this has been, like, as you said, and I'm totally leaving it on the record because you said really nice stuff. And I think this has been absolutely awesome getting to hang out with you guys tonight. And I really appreciate it. Before we part ways, where can we find your music online?
Yeah, so we're at The Break Plans. You can find us Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Google Music. I'm forgetting some of them.
MySpace,
MySpace. No, but actually, if you just Google The Break Plans, right, you'll get our stuff. And we're simple guys too. I'd say the best way would probably be Instagram, The Break Plans. And if you can't find out how to listen to our music, just send us a message, man. But dude, Corey, again, man, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having us, dude.
Oh, you're most welcome. It's been great getting to know both of you. Thank you so much. Any parting words before we head out? Mike first.
I would just say, everyone who's watching this, either if you know us or just meeting us, just check us out. I mean, we're good people. I think our music is fun enough. And just thanks for listening to everything we have to say. Man.
I will take my time to say I've talked too much, so I'm going to throw it back to Mike again. So, Mike, give him a second bumper out.
I will say what Colton would have said. So, thank you very much for being part of the Break Plans today, and just letting you know that Colton has.
Thank you very much for having us.
He has like these pauses when he talks. So we are the Break Plans, and it was a great time talking with you. We will talk to you. It's like one of those things. So I kind of picked up on it.
Mike wants to rip on me for that. So my old problem was I used to say all the time. So instead of saying I just paused.
No, it's all good. No, but he's a way better talker than I am. I know I said anyway, but no, I mean he's a front man for a reason. He's better at it. I'm more behind the scenes, and he knows I'm not really comfortable with talking about myself or things, that. So I'm learning.
You guys did great. It was an absolute pleasure. It really was.
Corey, it was an absolute pleasure, and I'll actually I'll end off with this. So the funny part is, Mike and I, it's what time is it? It is 7:15. So Mike and I had plans. We're actually gonna hang out in person, like after this call, and talk about how the call went. So, and also talk about band stuff. But dude, Corey, for real, bro, it was so fucking nice meeting you, man. It was really nice of you to have us, this is so dope to come on and talk about music, the interviews and stuff that's happened since COVID. Really cool, dude. Absolute pleasure meeting you. We really enjoy you having us, and we're very grateful. Thank you so much, dude.
And I I feel the same about you guys. Don't be strangers. Like I say to everyone, you're part of our extended family here. Our family just grew 2 members bigger, and I'm sure we'll include Danny as well because he's not here. But that's 3 new members to the MixTape family. So thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Really means the world. My guests have been Mike and Colton of the Break Plans. Thank you so much.